welcome to FPL Selection. Today we'll take a look at how the team is shaping up for Game Week 37, but first a quick look at how we got on in Game Week 36. So 75 points, -8, another poor week, now sitting just outside the top 600,000. And that's 4 weeks in a row now. I've got the captaincy wrong, trying to be different. If I played sort of more safe with the likes of Fernandes or Haaland, I'd likely be in a much better position, considering a lot of my other picks have gone quite well. But I guess that's just the risk of trying to make up a lot of ground in a short time. You know, sometimes it goes for you and sometimes it doesn't. So obviously the captaincy is quite important, really. Obviously having a few zeros and twos in there. And the likes of Haaland and Fernandes have been doing quite well. Yeah, it just makes a huge difference. I've had a captain to any other City attacker pretty much this week. Would have been a successful triple captain. So, yeah, can't be too negative about it. Bit of bad luck, but obviously, that's the risk you run when you try and go different to everybody else. I did gain 2 points from the -8, getting the Palace attackers in. I would have played Palmer and Pedro in their place. So, small reward, being aggressive there. Almost the end of the season. So, yeah, can't get any worse, really. So, we'll have another couple of goes at captaincy punts, see if we can get a bit lucky and, just see where we end up, really. Have a bit of fun. So, looking ahead now to Game Week 37. Just one free transfer and, likely get an Arsenal attacker in. Obviously, the home game against Burnley. Arsenal chasing the league, they've had the full week of rest. So you're expecting a few goals for them. I've got Saka, Eze and Trossard listed. Saka, is the obvious one. Probably on penalties and, obviously probably the most consistent player when, at his best. But I am tempted to go a bit different again this week because, I think a lot of people are going to go Saka and captain him. So, yeah, I like Eze, I like Trossard. I'm also looking at potentially Havertz or Odegaard. Just need to try and figure out who I think is going to get the most minutes. And, I think one of those, it's probably pot luck, really, who's going to have the most points. Could be any of them, really. So, yeah, I think it'd be a bit of fun to go a bit different and just see if we can, make up a little bit of ground. I think probably just best to draw a name out of the hat almost. Could be anyone on a single game. So, yeah, figure out who I think's going to start, who's going to get the most minutes, and then, yeah, might even just pick one of them out of a hat, to be honest. Could be any of them, really. Looking now at the team for this week, Raya is at home to Burnley, and I've got Gabriel for the double Arsenal defence. Obviously, this was, part of the reason for getting Raya in a few weeks ago and having the Arsenal defence for the end. Home against Burnley, chasing the league title. They've had quite a few clean sheets recently, Arsenal, so you can't see him not keeping another one. Although, this is the most likely one they'll probably end up conceding just because it's the most obvious looking clean sheet. But, I guess Burnley will be a little bit, nothing to play for and relaxed. So, yeah, let's see. But obviously happy to have those two in there and, yeah, expecting the clean sheet, really. And O'Reilly is away to Bournemouth. I think this is going to be a really tricky game for City. Obviously coming just after the cup final on the Saturday. So it's a short turnaround. But I am guessing the full strength City team is going to play this game. I think that's probably why quite a few were rested for the Palace game, was to have them available for the cup final and this away game at Bournemouth. Obviously Bournemouth are a real high energy team, lots of pressing. So City are going to have to be at their best, I think, to get the result. O'Reilly, obviously very attacking as well, so maybe no clean sheet here for City, but you're always hoping to get something attacking-wise from O'Reilly as well when he ends up in the box, so often. Yeah, it's a tricky fixture, probably not expecting too much, but yeah, you've always got to play O'Reilly, whenever you think he's going to start. And Mukiele is away to Everton. It was a choice really between Mukiele away at Everton or Munoz away at Brentford. After, seeing the rotations from Palace, I'm just not convinced 100% that, he's not going to rest some of the players or take them off at half time. I've got Thiago in my team as well, so I think it makes more sense to go Mukiele. away at Everton. Obviously, Everton's still chasing European places, but I think, Mukiele's been very good this season, attacking wise as well. So, yeah, I just think it's out of the two. I don't really want to make another defender transfer. So, for me, Mukiele's going to, I think, he'll outscore Munoz most likely. So, that's why I've gone with him. And moving on to midfield, Semenyo is away at Bournemouth, and I've got Cherky for the double City attack. As I said earlier, I do think City are going to go full strength for the cup final and this Bournemouth game. Semenyo is obviously the one at risk, bearing in mind that he played most of the game at Palace. So we'll see if he starts the cup final. But Cherky looked good when he came on against Palace. He has generally been one of City's better attackers over the last sort of 10, 15 weeks, I guess. So I'd be very surprised if both of them didn't start, and especially Cherky. But we'll have to see, obviously, how the cup final goes and try and make a read on it. But obviously, we're not going to see that cup final. So I think I'm just going to start both and just hope to get lucky. I think you'd hope to get some minutes out of them even if they didn't start. But it's going to be a tough game away at Bournemouth. But I'd expect there to be some goals. So yeah, I think it'd be overthinking if I didn't start those two, and yeah, just hope to get something. And Mbumo is at home to Forest, and I've got Fernandez for the double United attack. Really don't want to have Mbumo in my team anymore. It's probably been like 10 weeks I've owned him, and I've had 0 returns out of him. Don't trust United now that the season's pretty much over for them. Forest equally don't have much to play for, but I just think it's going to be potentially another rotated lineup from United, so not too sure if Mbumo's actually going to start, and I've just sort of run out of patience there, so I'd like to get rid of him. Fernandez obviously chasing the assist record. Potential captaincy option this week, definitely. So, yeah, I'm happy to have Fernandez, but Mbumo, yeah, definitely want to get rid of him. I think it's a decent fixture, last home game of the season, but just there's no guarantee he's going to start. So, if I knew he was going to start, I'd probably keep him, but it's just a lottery at this point. So, yeah, I think just Fernandez is fine for this one. And Sarr is away to Brentford. Difficult to know if Sarr is even going to start this game. I know Palace have been rotating a fair bit. I'd like to think the fact that he was a sub against City means he'll start this one, and then potentially he'll just get a few minutes in the Arsenal game next week, because that is the Sunday before they have the Conference League final. So I can see minutes in this one for the Palace, main 11, but potentially it's going to be the final game where they'll rotate a little bit more. But again, I think it'd be overthinking. Sarr can definitely get something 20, 30 minutes on the pitch anyway. So, yeah, I'm not going to overthink that. I'll just play him, I think. And moving on to the forwards, Thiago is at home to Palace. Think could be a good game for Brentford this. Last home game of the season. Obviously, still trying to finish in the European places. Thiago's chasing the golden boot, probably out of reach now, but he's still going to be going for it. And obviously he's playing for his place with Brazil, as I keep saying, in the World Cup. So, yeah, I think good chance there'll be a few goals in this for Brentford, especially if Palace do rotate a little bit more. Tired legs. Yeah, very happy to have him for this fixture. And Mateta is away at Brentford. Not really too sure if he's going to start this one. I know he's only been playing sort of 60 minutes when he does start in recent weeks, so yeah, potentially could get another 60 minutes here. But yeah, I think if Solanke was fit, it would be really nice to have had him, but I don't think he's going to be ready this week. Potentially just keeping him for game week 38. So yeah, I'll probably just play Mateta unless I decide to go Gyökeres. I'd probably bring him in for Mateta, but yeah, he's always capable of a goal when he plays. So yeah, not too disappointed to have him, but at the same time, that doubt over the start is a little bit frustrating. So in summary, I'll likely get an Arsenal attacker in and captain them. I'll most likely avoid Saka, even though I think he's probably the sensible play this week. Just want to try and gain a little bit more, going different. Just try and catch that random haul, for the one game. I think Eze and Trossard are probably my preferred options at the moment. But I am considering Odegaard, Havertz, and maybe Gyökeres too. But as I said earlier, I'm most likely to get rid of Mbumo, so it's probably going to be a midfielder. Yeah, just got to see who I think's going to get the minutes and yeah, take it from there, I think. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.